Good morning. This is the Plains World Podcast, where conversations are worth hearing and seeing. You can watch us each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And for more information on past episodes, you can visit our website, plainsworld.net. And while you're there, you might even find another show that Sarah was on before, our guest today. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, coming to you from my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. And each week we share positive news and uplifting stories about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And to that end, it's my pleasure to introduce Sarah Kohrs, musician and songwriter, as my guest today. And Sarah, as you probably know from being on the show in the past, you can feel free to wave to all your fans and friends who are watching
Hey,
this.
everybody.
Great. And this is Sarah. And Sarah's coming from what, outside of Cary, North Carolina? Is that it?
Outside of the Raleigh area in North
Okay,
Carolina.
great. And I should mention that Sarah is a very talented musician, a songwriter, singer, and multi-instrumentalist. Her work has been featured in plays, commercials, and film. This year she began um, working for or writing for Crystal Image Publishing Company. She's won two Positive Awards for her songwriting, had a song featured on a documentary that won multiple awards, and is in the middle of releasing her new album, Colors. So it sounds like you're keeping a little bit busy, Sarah. Are
I'm
you?
keeping pretty busy. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let me ask you, Sarah, the question I've asked you before on the air, but for the benefit of today's show, in terms of getting into songwriting and writing music, as a kid, were you always into that?
I started later. I mean, I would always kind of dance and sing and make up little songs. But I didn't do it very seriously until I was probably in my mid to late 20s.
Really? So, what
Yeah.
was so as a kid, did you play any instruments?
I did. I played piano and flute and those I strummed the guitar a little because my brother started playing guitar, but I wasn't very good at guitar. So I'd only learned a few chords on that, but I played flute very well and piano.
Well, that's kind of interesting in that, like you said, you didn't get into this seriously, I guess, until your 20s. What was
Yes.
the very first song you ever wrote? Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, it was called Giants. I had started dating a musician and I wanted to impress him. So I thought I'll write a song because I'd been writing poetry for a while and I love doing that. So I was like, how different could it be? Like I play piano, I've been classically trained and studied music. How good different could the songwriting be from everything I know? I'll just put it all together. So I did that, and my first few songs were not very good,
Well,
but I remember
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I do remember the first song that I wrote that impressed my boyfriend at the time. So there was
Well,
definitely a learning curve.
now, is there a record of this song anywhere?
No,
Oh, no?
no.
Okay, well, that's cool. So how old were you then?
Um, Mid to late 20s. I don't remember exactly.
Wow. So that's only just a year or 2 years ago, right? Mid,
That's right. The
okay,
last year.
exactly. Wow. And so and since then you've done all this other stuff. So you wrote the
Yeah,
first,
no.
so that is really cool. So you wrote the first song. We should actually, I won't put you on the spot today, but we could have you recreate it,
Yes.
revisit
At
it,
some
do it.
point I could probably go back in the archives and find that song.
Well, so then what happened at that point in time? You just started getting into a songwriting bug?
Yeah, I mean, once I started, I never stopped after that. I mean, the relationship ended and I just kept writing songs. I loved it.
Well, how many songs have you written?
Oh gosh, probably a few hundred by now. I don't know. I don't keep track of how many, but a lot.
Is there a record of these songs somewhere?
I try to keep records on my own personal ones. And then if I'm going to produce something fully or put it out into the world on streaming platforms, that's different. Yeah.
Because I always wondered, so after you write a song, do you ever come back and revisit it? Do you ever change it?
I have had songs that are not, see, in my mind, when a song is done, I don't really go back to it. If it's done in my mind, if it's still kind of open, if it's in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm not totally happy with this, then yes, I will go back. And a song can sort of sit in that weird gray zone for months before I go back and finish it sometimes. And then others just come out in like 15, 20 minutes.
So talk about the
So,
process, Sarah. I've always amazed by it in terms of poets, songwriters as well. Do you just get up in the morning at 7 o'clock and start writing for 5 hours straight? Is that the kind of how you write it, or just step
um,
by step?
most recently, I try to have a structure for my day. Like I'll get up and I'll go for a walk. Um, and then I'll have at least 2 to 3 hours that I'll dedicate to writing or playing piano or doing something creative in that way. Um, but it's not, I mean, you're not like writing that whole time. You're thinking of ideas, you're thinking about stories, you're writing things down, you're trying to find what feels good. A lot of times I can tell if it feels like there's some kind of melody or chord structure or some figure that I'm doing at the piano or on Logic that gives me like a very strong emotion, then I know that that's going to be a strong song.
Because the most impressive thing I think I've seen you done to date was that you wrote music for a friend of ours, a mutual friend, Marcy Gallagher. And you just have to talk about that process. It still blows me away that she wrote this play. And it's amazing because she doesn't have a musical background per se, but
Yep.
what is it? She wrote the songs and you came up with the music for the songs?
Yes.
Yeah.
So she actually made my job very easy. She had written poems. So they already had a rhyme and rhythm structure. And then I just turned them into music. And I tried, like, my goal when I was going into it was to change as little of her work as I could. So I really wanted to kind of retain what she had done because her characters in that play were just fabulous, and the humor in the play and the livelihood that she had already created was just amazing. So I wanted to, instead of creating something of my own, I wanted to really tap into what she did and amplify that. And it ended up that was actually a very fast project for me in terms of writing an entire musical because I was in a space where writing it quickly allowed there to be these through lines in the song. So you'd hear a little theme in one song, and then it would pop up again in another song. So there were all these little things that kind of tied everything together and made it like a whole thing instead of 8 or 10 different songs.
Because when I heard about it, I was so impressed that you did it so quickly. Like you did like Marcy gave you the project, you were talking about it, and within a couple of days, you had like a lot of the songs already done.
Yeah. We
Now,
would meet every week. And the first time we met, I brought my keyboard and a big set of headphones and I played what I had done for her. And I was like, is this a good direction? Is this what you want to go? Because I had told her in the beginning that I was like, I write like poppy songs. I write more in that genre, but I don't know. The musical theater came out pretty naturally. It was fun.
now the disappointing thing about this story, and you and I were talking about this off the air, is that right now those songs aren't even available, right? If you want to listen to the songs, are they available anywhere or
No, they're just in no, I mean I have the scratch demos that I did, but
because
they're not
someday
publicly available.
someday you and I will have to get after Marcy and talk about the fact that, yeah, but it's such good music and it's fun music. And I've heard you play some of them, I think, in concert, but it's not the same thing too. So,
Yeah.
first musical you ever did, do you see yourself doing a musical in the future?
I mean, it all just depends. I've had a few people ask me about it and I don't know, the chemistry and mojo between me and Marcy was just like really positive and really strong and I think that that came across in the finished product.
Well, how about if not with Marcy, we do next is like a Carole King thing. We can do the Sarah Kohrs story, the
Yeah.
well, you laugh. What was that? Beautiful?
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I've seen parts of it.
Yeah, I think it's may even been on YouTube, but just it's such a great show.
Yeah.
And that's about her, it's about her life. Yeah,
Yes.
things like okay, so keep that in the back of mind for the next one, the Sarah Cause story. Well, or is that worth taping? But what blew me away is the fact that after you did that, then I just did it in the introduction. You've also done music now for some other things as well. And so talk about the one thing I mentioned. I didn't know this. You did music for a documentary.
Yes.
What was that all
Um,
about?
There was a gentleman at the church that I was attending who came as a special guest speaker, and he was talking about this film, Kaleidoscope Child, that he was going to be creating because he has an organization that he has schools in different parts of the world. And so kids that are, you know, food insecure and don't have access to education or very many resources at all go to these schools and it just transforms their lives. So he was talking about the film and what he wanted it to be. And I had written a song after my grandmother passed away, and she had passed away a few months before he came. And she loved children. She just had this magic with kids. She knew how to be with them. Even when she was very old, like kids would flock to her. It was amazing. And so I wrote the song like about her after she had died. And I just felt like that song was the perfect match for the movie. And I presented it to him and he agreed and he talked to the movie producer who's just a phenomenal person and it all came together.
Now, what's the name of it?
It's called Kaleidoscope Child.
It's the name of the song, or is that the documentary as
That's the
well?
name of the documentary. The name of the song is called You're Changing Me, and that one is available online.
We'll talk about it. So, where is it available?
So that's on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all the major streaming platforms.
Now, also you mentioned documentary. Is that available anywhere?
That is currently going through the independent film circuit. So it's been presented online and it's streamable in different places at different times. Um, I believe at the end of this year, it's somebody's probably gonna, I mean, it won so many awards this year. It was amazing. It won the Platinum Remy Award in the Houston Film Festival. It won an award in the San Francisco Film Festival for Best Documentary. It won an award for Best Documentary in the Paris Film Festival. It really did well. So I'm assuming that one of these streaming platforms for films is going to snatch it up at the end of the year when it's done touring the circuit.
Well, so it's really cool. So here you wrote a musical, then you did music for a documentary. Talk about some of the stuff you're doing as well. In introduction, you mentioned the Posse Awards. I don't know what Posse Awards are, but tell me about them.
So Posse is short for positive music, and there's a whole group of singer-songwriters and artists that do it's sort of it's its own genre of music where it's just like really positive, uplifting music. It's spiritually based sometimes, but it's not any particular religion. So people of any faith or belief system can enjoy this music and be uplifted by it without sort of feeling alienated if they don't agree with a particular doctrinal belief. So yeah, it's just in existence to lift people up and raise their spirits, and it's a nice thing.
Now, the stuff you wrote for that, did you write it specifically for the awards, or this is stuff you'd written elsewhere and then it got chosen by the awards?
These are things I'd written elsewhere and it got chosen for the awards.
And so,
I yeah, so I had written a song called Bigger Than Mountains. It's interesting because both of these songs they came out of like sad situations for me, but I was trying to like help myself up a little bit. And then they ended up being accepted as positive songs, which was very cool. But the song Bigger Than Mountains, I wrote after I'd had an argument with someone that I care a lot about, and I had said something that I regretted. And I just felt like I really needed like God to step in and heal that situation. So that's kind of what the song is about. Like sometimes you want God to be something small that you can comprehend, but sometimes you need him to be bigger than you because like you don't know your way out of this thing that you sort of messed up on. So that was that song. And then there was the second song was called Christ in Me, which was just about that like help and light is within us if we're open to it, like it's there for us if we're open to it.
so now are these songs available elsewhere?
Yes. The Bigger the Mountains is available online. Christ in Me is available through the Unity Posse Publishing. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so very cool. Talk then, I didn't know till now the show, you're now involved with this Crystal Image Publishing Company. And
Yes.
how'd that come about?
Um, so my boyfriend who I'm working with in this endeavor, had a colleague who owns that publishing company, and he had shared my most recent album, which is coming out now, with this gentleman, John Covert, who's like an amazing musician. He's been just a very successful musician and business person for many years. And he was very excited about it. And he asked if we would be a part of this endeavor that he's doing with placing music in films and movies and documentaries and that sort of thing. So
So
it's exciting to be writing for that.
well, it sounds it. So if folks want to find out information about Crystal Image Publishing, is there a
Mhm.
website for that or is that available anywhere?
Um, he has information online, yes.
Okay. So
Yep.
is available online? How about through
Yes,
you?
it's under the title Crystal Image, and he has also a band that performs, and he has all different facets in the music industry.
Okay,
So
now is that on your website as well?
that is not on my website. That would be under Crystal Image.
Okay, but I'm saying, is there any on your website? Is there any mention of Crystal Image?
I should update my website
Yeah,
after
no,
this
I'm
interview.
just
No,
thinking
not right now.
okay, but we're talking about Crystal Image Publishing and very exciting.
Right.
You're doing work with them. So yeah, let's get that on your website as well. And then let's segue into then next thing you're doing, quote, in your spare time, that you're now releasing, I guess, a new album. Is this your first album?
This is not my first album. It's my first album in a long time.
Okay. Well, talk a little bit
Yeah.
about that because I'm curious when I saw that. So you're coming out new album colors and people when they look at this, they'll see on the posting it, they'll see the great that's the cover picture, what you sent
Yes.
me of the
Hmm.
album. But explain a little bit to me, I should know more about the idea of now releasing albums. So you're going to have a release party, but people don't buy albums per se anymore, or do you still call them albums?
Yeah, I mean they have different names, so you can call it an LP, which is um an EP, an extended play, a long play. They have singles, but people it's very easy to put an album into the world now. You can sign up on like TuneCore or CD Baby or DistroKid, any number of distributing platforms, and upload your music, upload the cover art, and you can just ship it out to all these platforms. The harder part is getting people to listen
Right. Well, that's
once
why
it's there.
that's why we're talking about this on the Blaine World show. So
Exactly.
so two people
Yeah.
listen and get the album, but the album's not out yet. When's the album coming out?
So what I'm doing what's called a waterfall release. So I released the first single at the beginning of July, the second single the beginning of August. The third single is coming out the beginning of September, and then the beginning of October I'm going to drop the rest of the album. So
So that's pretty ambitious. So do you have it? Is the music done already on this
the
or still
music is
writing?
done already. Yes, that's all set.
Okay. So now when you're releasing it, so this is just the music. This isn't on this. We don't have videos on this. Is that correct?
Right. Spotify and iTunes are going to be the music. Yep.
Okay, cool. But yet, I was asking you off the air if people want to see you perform, and it's worth seeing you perform. Again, I'm sorry we don't have um, at the Cafe Mossy show up that they can see it, but people want to actually see you in a video. By the way, send me the information on that as well because I'll include that in the description. But
Okay.
how do they find you performing?
A video of me performing.
Yeah.
There's videos up on my Instagram, on my website, all of that.
Okay. And so we're
Yep.
talking about it. Your website is what?
My website is Sarah, SARAH, and then a little hyphen dash KOHRS.com.
Okay. And so if they go there, they can find out
Hmm.
information about the songs you have available. They can
Yes.
find out, they can find out everything they want to know about Sarah Kohrs and more.
Yes. Yes. So there's the songs are available. If they want to purchase and download the songs that are not yet out,
Right.
they can do that there at the website. When if they wanted to purchase them even after they've come out, I drop the price once they've come out. It's $1.29 if you want to get a pre-downloaded song before it's officially out in the world. And then I just drop it to the 99 cents that's available on iTunes or Spotify. Or you can go to iTunes and Spotify and just stream them for free and just listen that way. I also have merch up on my website, which is really fun. I have like mugs, t-shirts, bags, all sorts of
Oh,
things you can buy. And that helps, it helps fund the cost of the album and is great. There's a calendar online as well for dates. I'm doing a series of album release shows. So I did one in Nashville in July. I'm doing a second one in September here in the Cary area. It's just like for each little single, we wanted to do something special as it was dropped. So
who would have thunk way back when that you ever I mean, not only the music is cool, but to actually have merchandise,
yeah.
is really cool. Yeah, I thought you'd be wearing it now or be seeing it
Yeah.
or a mug. Sarah, I always tell you, you got to promote yourself, so you should have the mug in the show as
The mug,
well.
the mug and the t-shirt.
Very cool. So I'm just blown away by all these different things you're doing. Down the road, what do you see yourself doing? Do you see another musical? Do you see another album? Do you see anything, any special projects you're working on?
What I'd like to do right now is focus on the live show with this album. So I have put a band together. The bass player is Phil Bertolo. The drummer right now is Tom Whalen. I have two guitar players that I'm working with, Doug Castine and Jeff Brainer. So they're all in the Raleigh area, and I'm wanting to do a series of live shows with that band on this album. So putting together the songs from the album but putting them in a live show situation. So that's September 4th. It's going to be one of the dates for that. And then October 24th in Wakefield is going to be the second live show. So I'm in the process right now of just booking different venues for the band.
Now, out of all the stuff you do in terms of recording, writing, performing, do you have a favorite thing? In other words, out of all those, which do you enjoy most?
Oh, it depends. I feel like they all sort of hit different parts of my personality. I love being in the studio. It's just it's it's really wonderful. I don't know. I was worked with my brother Nate Kohrs. He produced this album and he's just absolutely brilliant what he does. And he made it so easy. Like I just went in, we had like some drinks, like sang a little song. It felt very easy. And then by the end, we had this like beautiful album. Um, so I enjoy that. And I think the writing part really speaks to my sort of introverted side, like thoughtful, introverted kind of side. And then for the live shows, there's just nothing like that connection with the audience. So that's where, the sort of diva comes out a little bit where you just want to connect with people and have a good time and harness that energy and enjoy it.
One of the things I always get a kick out of watching you is the fact not only you're singing, which I love, but also the fact you play several instruments. And
Yes.
talk a little bit about that as well, because you said as a kid you played the piano. How would you pick up
Yes.
other instruments, or how'd that come about?
I picked them up as I was going. So I play piano, I play drums, I play flute, I play guitar better now than I did in high school. And I picked up ukulele this past year. I was teaching ukulele, so I had to learn how to play it. That was a joy. I never took the ukulele very seriously as an instrument until I started to play it. And it's so beautiful. And it's just like a lovely size. My Phil Bertolo, who's one of my collaborators and my boyfriend, bought this really beautiful instrument for me. And I just fell in love with it. So he and we do some guitar and ukulele things. We do some songs where I'm like playing keyboards with one hand and drumming with the other, and he's like on the bass and we're singing harmonies, and it's 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 great. Like it keeps my mind like busy and organized at the same time, which is nice.
Because that's one of the fun things watching you to see you perform is you start playing all these other instruments. And
Yeah.
you forgot perhaps my favorite, the kazoo. Do you play the kazoo
That's
as
that's
well?
right. Yes.
Okay, so don't forget that as well. So the in terms of concerts, so they'll see when they see you perform, they'll see a bit of everything.
Yeah, it depends what kind of show it is. So for this, for the album release on the 4th, I'm starting it off with just me and the piano. And then without giving too much away, but there's going to be a moment where the band comes in and it like opens up. Um, so I think I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be a cool show. And then, yeah, there's all different kinds of things. The 28th is going to be a full band show. So I won't have to be running around to all the different instruments unless I decide I want to.
But it's so funny to watch you do that. And then you mentioned one of the, or you didn't mention yet, but I know when you were in the Asheville area, you were also active in the church. You were active with what church was it?
It was called Unity of the Blue Ridge.
Community. And you for a
Yes.
while you were doing music for them.
Yes. Yes, I was the music director there for before I moved here.
Did you enjoy doing that?
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. So is any music religious in nature?
Yeah, so the Posse music is actually through the Unity Church. And it's Unity Worldwide Ministries have sort of created this genre. And yeah, so that's a connection there.
And so I've heard a bunch of stuff you've done. Any other kind of music you haven't done yet or done professionally that you want to get into? Like, have you do some jazz stuff as well?
I have done a little bit of jazz. I'm definitely sticking. I feel like at this point I have found more of my space as an artist, and it's much more in the like the pop rootsy influence kind of world. So, yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a jazz musician, although I do enjoy singing like jazz and standards and all that kind of thing.
And did you enjoy, never heard you sing a lot of them. Do you enjoy like Broadway and pop stuff as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. There's a lot of Broadway songs for me, the Broadway songs are fun because you can just really open up and Broadway just embraces all different textures and different kinds of voices. And I think that's really fun. But for me, the pop world it, it connects the rhythmic part of me, which I just like the drums are my favorite thing to play. So being able to like weave that into my writing and my performing has been really important. And it feels like I've got all the pieces now for this album that I just put out, which is cool.
And what was so cool, I had the pleasure, I guess, of seeing you in one of your first drumming performances, just picking it
Yes.
up or something. And talk about that as maybe the last thing in terms of picking up stuff. Do you take lessons? Do you watch YouTube? How do you pick up like a musical instrument? Do you take
Um,
lessons at
for
all?
me, I haven't had music lessons in a good long while, but when I was growing up, I had piano lessons and I studied at conservatory on piano. I had probably a total of 3 years of voice lessons. So I had 2 years at conservatory. And then when I was starting to sing again and really getting into the songwriting, I took a year of voice lessons to just um, get a base. And other than that, I've really honed my listening skills. So I can hear what the drums are doing or what the bass is doing or what the keyboards are doing in a certain piece and pick things up that way. And I have friends and I've just surrounded myself with people who know those instruments. And if there's ever a question, it's very easy for me to be like, is the hi-hat happening right there? Or are they doing something on like a ride? Like, what is that sound that I'm hearing? So yeah, and especially the Nate, my brother, and Phil, my boyfriend, are just monster musicians. So we help each other out if anybody has a question about anything. And we approach it from slightly different angles.
Do you do
So
any of this through YouTube? Can you pick up learning and play an instrument through YouTube?
I haven't done any of those like
Right.
the teaching videos on YouTube. I haven't really done any of those. So I don't know. I've I don't know. I don't know anybody who's doing those. So I can't really speak to that.
As the last thing we're talking, I can just see you, Sarah. I don't know if you ever seen these musicians who play like 17 instruments at one time.
Yeah.
I can see you doing that coming out.
A one-man band. Yeah.
Right, I can see it, but with all your talents, I think that would be very appropriate. Sarah, of course, just to wrap up, if any folks again want to track you down or find out more about you, what's the best bet?
Sarah-Kohrs.com. There's a contact sheet there, or you can just feel free to email me directly at Sarah, Sarahd for Danielle, Kohrs, Kohrs @gmail.com.
Okay, and so the
And
website, all the information though about upcoming gigs and stuff like that.
yeah, that's up there.
Okay. Anyway, Sarah, as always, I'd like to thank you for being my guest on this edition of the Blaine's Grill podcast. I'd also like to thank my producer, not Cappy, excuse me, Kim Jones. And hopefully we'll bump into each other sometime in the not too distant future. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
thanks so much for having me, Blaine.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. Speak to you soon.
Okay.